It is time for the legendary banner of February, and there are two big questions we have to answer. Who is the new legendary, and will we be getting a new emblem ring? Well, let's find out. Oh, okay, so we're getting legendary Male Alear now. Let's start at the top with his preference weapon, Divine One's Arts. Okay, so what you're getting here is you're getting Slaying, you're getting Dual Phase Brave, you're getting +5 to all stats, and then you're also getting additional stats based off how many distinct game title allies you have around you. So it's exactly the same as Female Alear so far, but you're also now getting damage reduction halving, which is really nice, and also you get a scowl effect. So that's pretty powerful. So essentially the difference between Male Alear and Female Alear is that Male Alear is going to be more offensive with more damage reduction piercing and a scowl compared to Female Alear, who has damage reduction that works against AoEs as well. So that's an interesting trade-off. It kind of just seems like scowl is really good on Female Alear, so having it built on Male Alear's weapon I think is a very big upgrade. Okay, up next we have Dragon's Roar, which is actually not a preference special like I originally thought. This seems to be an Inheritable Dragon special. That's right, we finally got our Inheritable Dragon special, and the way this essentially works is it's going to boost your damage by 40% of your resistance when the special triggers, and that's going to have like an armored flow effect, right? Where like when an opponent attacks into you with their special already procced, or if your special's already been procced, you're going to get 40% non-pierceable damage reduction as long as you can win a resistance check. So this is a very good inheritable special, right? Like this is almost as powerful as Zelgius. Zelgius obviously doesn't have the resistance check, and also his is more offensive. But either way, like having this as an inheritable special is a very big deal, and it's gonna make dragons way more powerful. So I think this is just amazing, and I also think KCB just like lost his entire wallet. So I'm kind of excited. But let's move on to his preference A special, Emblem's Miracle. What this essentially does is you get distant counter, you get +9 to all stats if you have an ally within 3 spaces, and then you also get brave damage reduction up to 40%, and it works with AoEs notably. But then also if you have a number of allies within 3 spaces that is greater than or equal to 3, you get a full miracle effect, like the Fae PRF special miracle, where it not only saves you but also heals you up to full HP, like Fallen Maria as well. So this is a pretty interesting preference A skill. I think this is kind of just a power creep over female legendary Alear. He pretty much has everything that she has, just kind of split differently, and he gets additional effects on top of it. The only thing that female Alear really has over him at this moment, in my opinion, is that she has the DR piercing that she can share with her ally support partner, right? Which is very good, but it's not as good as it was when it came out because of units like legendary Camilla, right? We also have a new tier 4 bulwark skill with speed and resistance. So it's the exact same as what Altina introduced, where it is a bulwark skill, but you get the brave damage reduction, and you also get the 70 HP healing after combat. Nice to see this add to the skill pool as well. And lastly, we get another source of attack speed pledge. So overall, looking pretty strong here. Okay, so when it comes to roles, what does male legendary Alear want to do? He is an Omnitank, 100%. That is what his role is meant to be. And unlike female Alear, he really doesn't offer any type of support to his allies. But in return for that, he is overall more powerful in my opinion. Not only is he colorless, which is a better color in the current meta, but he also gets better damage reduction overall. He gets a scowl effect, which means that his A slot can be open right for his preference A special, unlike female Alear, who has to run scowl in some situations, especially if she doesn't have Veil with her. He also gets damage reduction having in his weapon, so that's also really nice. He's not as reliant on specials as female Alear is. So I think overall that this is just kind of a power creep version of female Alear in my opinion. And when it comes to game modes where Male Alear is going to really succeed in, I think it's going to be Aetheryte's Offense, Arena, and Summoner Duels. We've already seen female Alear perform very well in all of those game modes, and so I don't see why Male Alear wouldn't be the same. We're going to start at the top with colors. Colors is overall a good pool, but not amazing in my opinion for that. Is Goto is a good light mythic, but he's not exceptional, and he's definitely not one of the top tier ones. He does offer some nice support with the AoE damage reduction and the extra like resistance through his mythic buff, but that's pretty much it. So if you need a light mythic, he can help you with scoring. On the other hand, we have defense mythic Golveg, and the problem with her is that she's a defensive mythic. That's just 100% it. She is okay on defense. She can definitely put in some work, but she kind of crumples to any kind of DR piercing and kind of can explode there. So she doesn't really get to take advantage of her 3 actions. Then she's not that great on defense, and so I don't think she's like a unit you really need to have for defense, and you definitely don't need merges for her. The good thing to say though is that Golveg does have amazing fodder with Flared Sparrow and a Cultist Strike, so if you do get a copy of her, at least you can upgrade one of your units with a very premium kit. The color I actually think is the best is going to be green. Green has 2 amazing dancers in the form of Ninian and a Attuned Peony. Ninian, legendary Ninian is still one of the best dancers in the game. The fact that she gives herself like self Gale Force is very powerful, and she also is very good in combat as well. She's usable in every single game mode in Aetheryte's Offense, Aetheryte's Defense, Arena, and Summoner Duels as well. She doesn't have very good fodder, so that is her one downside, but overall you're getting a very good unit. We also have another amazing dancer in the form of a tuned peony, who is an attuned hero, which means she can duplicate skills. And that's one of the big reasons we want the Green Dream for a Hero Rises, because duplicating skills is just so extremely valuable. Even aside from that, she's an amazing dancer, one of the best dancers in the game, so you're definitely not going to feel bad pulling her, and she has great fodder as well, including all the things you could duplicate on her, like guidance, soaring guidance, and all those kind of things. And then lastly, we have Mythic Haether, and Haether is a very underrated mythic in my opinion. She's very powerful in Astra, and she actually fixed into a lot of seasons because she can just power up whatever unit you need to. So she works really well in the hit and run strategies, Gale Force strategies, and even tank strategies as well. Overall, green is just a very, very solid pool. After that, I'm going to have red. Red is a good pool, but not amazing. The great thing here is that we do have Kvaser here, who is a very good dark defense mythic. She fits into Cav lines extremely well, and some other powerful defense teams too. The thing is that she is a very good unit, but you really don't need merges on her once again. So just having one copy of Kvaser is typically enough. She does have very good fodder in the form of an Insight Attack Speed, which is one of the premium skills you want on like your nuking Cavs, right? So that's a very good pickup there. We then have Harkin. Harkin is a good unit. He's definitely like slept on. He's, definitely underrated, but he's not exactly the unit you want, I would say. Like his fodder is not very good. You get Brash Assault 4 and like Attack Defense Clash 4, which is okay, but not great. And there's no real value to merging him up unless you're like one of his fan favorites, right? The real star of the red banner, in my opinion, is going to be Attuned Triandra. Attuned Triandra is like an amazing dancer. The amount of burn damage she can offer to the entire team is really good, and when you add that with like a preference dance and the fact that she can duplicate skills, like very valuable skills, she's just a fantastic unit to pick up, even if you only get one copy. But if you get multiple copies, she just gets more and more valuable. And then in last place, I'm gonna have blue, and blue is just kind of not great in my opinion. We do have one very powerful unit in this pool, which is Freyr. Freyr is our like meta anima mythic. He's so good that people are actually using him on Dark Season as well. So he's obviously very valuable, but once again, you do not need duplicates of him because he is a defense mythic. His fodder is okay, but not great. On the other side, we have Fabail, who is an okay unit. He's really not that great, but he has really good fodder, like physical no follow-up, so that's nice. And we also have Legendary Myr. Legendary Myr is definitely showing her age nowadays. She's really not that great in many roles, and her only real big claim to fame is Warp Bubble. But we also just got Valentine's Myr, who just does it way better than her. So honestly, she isn't the best unit, but she does score extremely well in Arena. So if you do need like a score stick, she can fulfill that role. Okay, let's move on to the Earth Legendary tier list. So we have had a big update to this tier list because last time we had it was like a whole year ago. And so in S+, I still have Legendary Robin. I still think he's the best Earth Legendary we have. He's definitely fallen off a bit. He's not as powerful as he once was, but either way, his support can be very powerful, and as a unit, he is very good. In second place, I'm going to have the new Male Alear. Now, don't get me wrong, this unit's obviously extremely powerful, and he might be the best Omni tank in the game. It's probably going to be between him and Altina for that position. But the thing is, like, you don't need that many Omni tanks, right? That's like the thing that's always been the problem, and that's why they put out so many Omni tanks. It's kind of bad because you just don't need that many of them. And so if you already have an invested Omni tank, you really don't need to pick him up. He doesn't offer any type of unique support like Female Alear did when she came out, and so I just don't think the value is completely there, even though he will probably be an extremely powerful unit. And if you need a new Earth Legendary for some reason for scoring or something else, or maybe you're just a big favorite of Male Alear, then definitely feel good about picking him up because he is a very powerful unit. Also in S+, we're going to have Legendary Self, who just got one of the best refines last year, probably the actual best refine of last year. It was just absurdly strong, and he is also a very powerful Omni tank once again. And then underneath that, I'm going to have Alm and Nana. They're both very good units, but they have a problem where they are being pretty much outsped. The speed meta has gotten so insane that both of them have dropped in value in my opinion, but they're definitely not the top tier legendaries, right? Then in A tier, we're going to have Deirdre, Julia, and Claude. All three of these units have definitely lost some power in the past year. Nukes have just gone absolutely ridiculous, and they definitely cannot keep up, unfortunately. And then down in B tier, we're going to have Legendary Tiki, Ike, Faye, and Robin. Now the problem with these four is, well, they're just really old. That's like the only thing to really say. Tiki just cannot keep up with nukes nowadays. Her saving is just not at the same level as current saves like Valentine's Myr or like Winter Byleth, and so she just will die to a lot of things. Same can be said with Ike, where he just has a very outdated weapon, and even though he has access to like very powerful infantry skills, it's not really enough to carry him. And then we have Faye and Robin, who both just kind of are underwhelming at the moment. I think when Faye gets her remix, she'll probably jump back up, but until then, she's definitely not a unit you'd want to be investing into. And the same can be said with Grimma. Even after her Hall of Forms run, even with an optimal kit, this unit just isn't very good. Okay, let's move on to the final part of the video, should you pull? When it comes to the pros, we obviously have a very good green pool here, so if you need these units, if you want merges, this is a great place to pull. We also have a very solid colorless share as well, if you need those units. The red pool is kind of mid in my opinion, not like exactly what you're looking for, not really a place you want to invest a ton of orbs, but there are some good units to pick up there. When it comes to cons, I will say like blue is extremely weak, other than Freyr, and we have a lot of other banners to be pulling on currently. The Valentine's banner has proven to be very meta influential. Duo Leon and Myrrh have just been wrecking SD. They've been putting in so much work, and they're also very powerful in pretty much every other game mode as well. So if you're like a meta player, that's probably a better banner to pull on. And of course, we have to mention the Hero Rises, which will be coming up next month. The voting gauntlet should be starting later this week, and that banner has the chance to be one of the best banners of the entire year just because of the value you can get from the Green Dream. And so, honestly, when it comes to should you pull for this banner, I think you should just save. You should just save your orbs, wait to see how a Hero Rises ends up, if we get the Green Dream, or if it has the heroes you want on it, and then make your choice. This banner does last 2 weeks, so we should have plenty of time to see what that banner will end up looking like, and so then if you want to pull, then go ahead and pull it at that point. But as of right now, I don't think this banner is like insane by any means, and you definitely do not need to pull on it. But now I'd love to hear from you. How do you feel about this legendary banner? How do you feel about legendary Male Alear? Do you feel good that he kind of power crept female Alear, or are you kind of mad because it's not even been a full year yet? I'd love to hear about it, so make sure to drop a comment down below in the comment section. As always, I'd like to thank all my members for their constant support. This has been Oblivion. I'll catch you all later with more Fire Emblem Heroes.